if you want to get to UFC, Contender Series, these sort of things, these are the guys you need to fight. There's no point, mucking around, choosing fights. Oh, I'll wait. Oh, let me have one more fight, then I'll fight him. Let me fight him towards the end of the year. Guys, from the 0 to 6 pro fight mark, you need to be taking hard fights. Like what's the point in getting to UFC and you just get smashed and then you're cut anyway? So, make sure that you have the hard fights now and fight the guys that you need to fight. So I'm just so glad that I get to step up and showcase my skills against such a high level opponent in John Vake.
First of all, introducing our challenger. Out of the blue corner. He's going to step in and he does. It's all over. Let's bring on the boom.
This is Eternal MMA.
All right, everybody, welcome back and thank you for joining us here once again on another edition of the Eternal Insiders Podcast. We are being joined today by a man once known as the most avoided welterweight in the entire country, and he is still certainly one of the hottest, one of the most talented, one of the most electrifying prospects that we have in the entire region, and he is certainly looking to prove that when he takes on City Kickboxing's John Vake this coming Saturday, June 22nd at Eternal 86 for the vacant Eternal MMA Welterweight Championship. It's Lachlan Deadshot Stitt back on the program. Lachlan, thanks for joining me here once again, brother. Very exciting times, man. Just a few short days away. Less than a week now from what is certainly the biggest fight in your career. How are things trending for you, man, in terms of your preparation? How are you feeling physically and mentally? How is everything in the lead up to this one, brother?
Excellent, man. I've had a great camp. Most was spent in Phuket, Thailand at Tiger Muay Thai, and coming back just a week and a half ago, acclimatizing back to Australia has been great. I feel super fit, man, healthy, body's ready to go, mentally ready to go. Everything's been on point. So I've done everything in this camp to make sure, we've left no stone unturned. This is a huge opportunity for me, and I'm going to grab it with both hands. So.
Certainly is a massive opportunity, man. Now, you just mentioned there training over at Tiger Muay Thai, of course, well-renowned, world-class gym over there in Thailand. You train at a Triple X Fight Academy, of course, here locally in New South Wales. What is it that's been drawing you over to that gym in particular, man? I know a lot of fighters train all around the world, but I know you've been back and forth there sort of a few times. Certainly over the last couple of years, I think even you competed in the Tiger Muay Thai tryouts at some point. What is it that's been sort of getting you back over to that gym, and what sort of gains do you think you've been making training out of that gym at this point in your career?
Yeah, good question. Tiger Muay Thai, for people who haven't been there, people from around the world. You got champions in Sambo, Muay Thai. You got wrestling, boxing world champions. We had Tim Zhu there when I was training there as well with Costa. People from around the world go there for a reason, for the intensity. Obviously, the climate adds another aspect. How hot it is, how humid it is. It really gets you fit. As well, just the culture is really nice over there. They have a good culture over there in Thailand. The food, I love the food there. It's a great place to train and just sort of focus on fighting. Like that's literally all I was doing. I'd wake up, go train, come back, grab a protein shake, have lunch, have a sleep in the afternoon, go train again, have dinner, go to sleep. That was literally it for my camp. So it's really good.
No, it certainly seems like just it's not only training, but it's sort of like a way of life and all that sort of thing over there, man. I mean,
correct.
You mentioned the heat and everything too, mate. I mean, like I suck at dealing with the heat and all that sort of thing. I can't even imagine what it'd be like training full time over there. How do you go sort of dealing with the heat? Is it kind of like a love to hate it type thing? I mean, it's so freaking cold down here in this part of the world at the moment. Yeah, what's it like for you over there?
When I left, it was starting to get cold here in Sydney. So it took me sort of a week and a half to sort of adjust to that climate. Your first couple of sessions are horrible. It feels like you're trying to train with a straw in your mouth. It's terrible, but you push through it. And the thing is not to just go too hard over there. Don't go over there, your first week and just go ham. You got to sort of ease into it. Let your body adjust. And because I've been back and forth so many times now, I think we've got it down pat. with my training schedule and how we run things over there. But it's unreal to have, such a room full of high level guys up in the MMA arena. You've got your Sambo world champions, Russian wrestling world champions. Their MMA side of it is crazy. Not to mention, the striking coaches that they have there as well, and the sparring partners.
No, it's certainly a world-class setup, man, and spoken to a lot of people that are trained there and nothing but good things. It certainly looks like, as we said, not just the training side of things, but also just a way of life, embedding yourself in the culture, the food, the training. Looks like a fantastic time, man, for sure. And it certainly led you up to this point, getting this title shot. Now, this is your first headline, your first main event, your first title shot for Eternal MMA at least. Can you take us back to finding out about this fight being a possibility? How did this all sort of come together for you? And what was your sort of immediate reaction to being told that this spot was going to be a possibility for you?
Man, I was pumped. I was pushing for this as soon as it was, when it became vacant. And then obviously got the win earlier in the year. And then I seen that there was a few Eternal cards coming up, and I messaged Cam straight away. I said, Cam, I tried to get on the Sydney card and said, Cam, that welterweight belt is vacant. I really pushed for it, messaged him. My manager, Dom at Rival, we all sort of pushed for the shot because, we know, that I'm ready for this step up in my career, and I've been training hard and making all the sacrifices. So to get the title shot has been unreal. So it's really good, and I've done everything in this camp to make sure I'm fully prepared.
Now, the title belt goes around your waist this coming Saturday. It is obviously not the first time that the Eternal welterweight strap would sort of adorn the halls of Triple X Fight Academy. Of course, your training partner and your good friend Caleb Rideout, former Eternal MMA welterweight champion. Now, unfortunately for Caleb, he did lose the belt to Joey Luciano. He was dealing with some injury issues that even kept him out of a rematch last February just gone against Alden Bates. Now, I know that would have been extremely disappointing for Caleb back then, and I'm sure, in some sort of degree, it'd be disappointing for him that it's not necessarily him in this spot right now, but I'm sure you've talked to him probably at length about, this spot, this title shot. What's Caleb been like in this situation for you, as a training partner, but also as a mate ahead of this title shot for yourself?
No, it's been fine, man. We all sort of sat down and spoke about it. Me, the coaches, Caleb, and stuff like that, and this shot came up for me, and I've taken it. So it hasn't caused any issues in the gym or anything like that between me and Caleb. We're very good friends. We've been training together since we were 17. So nothing like this is going to come between me and Kay or anything like that. He's back in the gym training, and I'm sure he'll be back fighting soon.
No doubt we'll see him soon. And of course, we certainly love to see him back. Caleb, one of the most exciting fighters that we've had for Eternal MMA. And we certainly see you reflecting that out of Triple X Fight Academy in your fights too, man. Now, the last time we spoke to you, of course, was ahead of your last fight for Eternal MMA, which was Eternal 75. That fight was against a man that you'd formerly trained with in Peter Templar from Mackay MMA that you guys had previously trained together. Now, the lead up to that fight, man, like we said at the top of the show, you are being coined as sort of the most avoided welterweight in the entire country. I think Cam O'Neill, director for Eternal MMA, said he's never struggled to get anyone a fight as much as he'd sort of struggled to get you one. We eventually get the fight against Peter Templar. It's a massive build-up. You're being coined as the most avoided welterweight, in the country. Ultimately, that fight did not go your way. Now, looking back sort of on hindsight, everything considered there, the amount of time that it took to get you the fight, the tags of being the most avoided man in the country. In hindsight, was there a bit more like, added pressure on top of, obviously you feel pressure leading into any sort of fight, but, when you sort of look back, did the kind of the pressure that comes along with all those tags, did that play a bit of a factor, in the lead up to it? And if so, did that have any sort of effect on you, either in your preparation or in the performance in the fight itself?
Yeah, I think I just didn't handle it correctly. So, every fight you go in with pressure on you to perform and stuff like that. So, dealing with the pressure has never been an issue. I've dealt with it my whole career, but I just think I didn't handle it correctly in my mindset leading up. That was over 12 months ago now, and I've done a lot of reflection after that loss, and to improve myself. And going through the injury that I had towards the end of last year with my back and stuff, and going through all that has really made me a lot more mature as a fighter and as a person as well. So no, that's not going to be an issue anymore. I just didn't deal with all the media and the hype sort of thing correctly. So yeah, no, it's not going to be an issue anymore.
No, it's certainly a thing of a past, man. And most importantly, you did bounce back. You did get yourself a win. It's led us to this point, another KO win on your record. Of course, you're a first-round KO specialist, and we'll talk a little bit about that. You mentioned there that you were dealing with a bit of an injury. Now, you did have a layoff from MMA in general for pretty close to 12 months. I noticed that at some point, close to maybe December, you got across to Europe, went on a bit of a holiday, saw some incredible sights and everything. Now, had have you got that win against Peter, would that be something that you still would have done? You mentioned that back injury, so it sort of leads me to believe that you would have had some time off anyway, but was that chance to sort of maybe step back from MMA a little bit, deal with the injury, get overseas, take some time off?
Yeah.
Was that ultimately just a chance for you to sort of take stock of your life, sort of kick back a little bit and have a bit of a reset so you can go into the next phase of your career?
Yeah, I think so. The holiday was already booked in earlier in the year, but unfortunately, I didn't want to have that big of a layoff. So when I hurt my back in Thailand at the end of June, during the tryouts, I came back and I tried to train. I couldn't train. I couldn't move, couldn't do anything. I could box. That's pretty much it. Any sort of rotation on my back would give me pain the next day. And I could barely walk around. It was crazy. I knew something wasn't right, and I tried to get help, chiropractor, physio. I tried everything. Electrotherapy, everything. I ended up getting the MRIs done on my lower back, and I pretty much herniated one of the discs, and it was pressing the sciatic nerve into my pelvis.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I know how much that hurts, man. Yeah.
No, it wasn't just like a small bulge. It was pretty severe. It was causing me so much pain. So the only way to fix it was surgery in the end. So it wasn't an easy decision to get the surgery. Obviously, being so young, they normally do the operation on 50, 60, 70-year-olds. So yeah, we just had to get the surgery done, and I got it finished, and did the right rehab afterwards to strengthen it back up. And at that time, I was going to Europe anyway. So that was good, just to have a break and let my back heal while I was traveling around over there. And then when I got back, I pretty much jumped straight into camp, and then was training for that fight in March, because I needed so much time to get ready. Being off for a while, get the weight right, get my timing back right again, and build the strength back up in my back.
Now, look, I don't know anything in terms of, preparing for a fight and dealing with injuries, but I do know about sciatic nerve pain, man, radiating from the back. That is something I personally dealt with, and that is one I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I can certainly relate.
It was awful.
Man, when you talk about not being able to move, not being able to rotate, I mean, I don't even know how mine sort of come on, but there were days for me personally, I couldn't even sit up to get out of bed. I had to be pulled out of bed. So as a fighter, as someone who's training and dealing with those sort of things, I can only imagine the pain you're going through, man. So it certainly sounds like the time off was certainly warranted. It looks like you had a good time in Europe, man, and you at least got to see some cool things. Was there anything in particular over there that you enjoyed, any particular countries and everything? I was very jealous, man. It looked like a hell of a trip.
Yeah, no, it was unreal. I did a Kentucky trip that pretty much take you on a bus all through Europe and whatnot. So the concentration camp, Auschwitz and stuff, that was a huge eye opener. Just being there and seeing that sort of stuff was crazy. And then obviously Italy was probably my favorite country to visit. Venice and all that was amazing. Eiffel Tower also really good, and going to the Colosseum as well in Rome, that was unreal. I paid extra. One of my friends said to make sure you pay extra and go on the actual tour into the arena and all that, and I made sure I did that. That was an awesome experience to be immersed in that environment. Just think, however many years ago they would fight to the death here, and blood going everywhere and the crowd going crazy. So that was really cool to see and just be there.
No, I can only imagine how much of an inspiration going to a place like that would be, man.
Yeah.
So good things all around. Good for you to get a bit of a reset, come back and start this next phase in your career. Before we had this one, you actually had a fight lined up with Elliot Compton that ultimately got cancelled. Elliot Compton, of course, many people will know Elliot Compton, but for those that don't know, very well-renowned Australian kickboxer, a lot of accolades both locally, internationally as well. Owns and operates, of course, Team Compton Training Centre, his own gym that he trains and kickboxers out of. You had that fight scheduled with him, a fight that I was very much looking forward to. A lot of people were looking forward to. That must have been a disappointing one for you not to materialise, because that was a hell of a fight for a young prospect against a seasoned veteran. That would have been fireworks.
Oh, absolutely, man. I was pumped as soon as they mentioned Compton's name for my fight back. I was pumped for that fight. You know, he's fought some of the best fighters in the world, you know, in kickboxing and Muay Thai and whatnot, and has a great resume. So I was training in Thailand for that. You know, for the striking side of it, getting some rounds in over there and stuff. And then when I came back, that's when the fight got cancelled, and you know, it obviously fell through. I was just lucky enough to get another fight, so that camp didn't go to waste, sort of thing. So no, but it worked out in the end. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have fought Elliot, but you know, everything happens for a reason.
Well, it's led us to this title fight, man, and you're right. You did. At least you got yourself a fight. You got yourself back in the win column. Like we said, another first round KO TKO for you. We certainly know the performances you put on here for Eternal with your massive knockout wins. Most notably, the one that you had, I believe, at Eternal 70 when it was against Corey Lynch. That was personally my knockout of the year for 2022. Ultimately, the people that make those decisions didn't see fit that was the knockout of 2022. But damn it, I don't make the decisions around here. But that for me was the knockout of the year. That was a sweet right knee, man. So people that haven't seen that one, go and check it out. It's on YouTube right now. It's a short one. It goes for like a minute and 30 seconds. So just more on the highlight reel for you, man, in this short part of your career. That has led us to this fight with John Varkey, of course, for the vacant welterweight championship. This is very exciting. Now, on paper, this one coming in, man, the biggest thing that stands out is the difference in experience. John Varkey is something with like 20 more pro fights than yourself on his pro record. I know you're very experienced in terms, you had a lot of kickboxing fights and everything. So maybe in terms of overall combat experience, it's not quite as much of a disparity as sort of most people would sort of think it is. But certainly from a pro point of view, how much are you factoring in that discrepancy in terms of the experience level on your pro records? And if so, what do you think it is that you need to do to overcome the experience level that John will bring to this fight?
Oh, yeah, you know, obviously his record does stick out. Oh, this will be my 16th fight, you know, since I turned 18. So I'm not too worried about the experience side of it. I think, you know, I've matured a lot, and the training partners I've had over the last couple of years have, you know, helped with that. Obviously, I trained with Robert Whittaker, you know, sparring, and Izzy Fitikefu from Gracie, Jacob Malkoon, current UFC middleweight. You know, I've done rounds with all these guys, especially even over in Thailand. I'm training with guys, you know, I'm sparring with guys with 30, 40 pro MMA fights, like you know, 100 amateur fights. So it's not going to be an issue in that side of it. I just need to be patient in there. You know, I know John is a very experienced fighter, and he has a lot of weapons, you know, that in his arsenal. So I just need to be patient. Stick to, you know, my game plan and execute it.
Well, we've certainly seen people in your position, you know, being given title shots at this, you know, this phase in their sort of the career. I mean, the most recent example of that, and a fantastic example of that, is Quillan Solkild coming in for his Eternal lightweight championship shot. He came into that fight as a 3-0 professional at that point. Blake Donnelly, who we fought and beat in the opening minute of the first round, had a much more higher experience level than what he did. There was a lot of people that thought this is sort of too early for them and too early for Quillan. Look where he is now, going for his shot on Dana White's Contender Series. You know, like Cam and Ben have certainly got like a fantastic track record, you know, of putting the faith in the right people that they believe are ready for these shots at this point in their career. Again, Quillan, a fantastic example of that, getting these early title shots, you know, taking the bull by the horns and making the most out of it. And you're certainly sort of that next person in line. I know you've got a lot of confidence in your abilities already, but with everything there considered, you know, knowing that Ben and Cam would only put people they trust in these positions to go out and give it their best shot. to come out with a great chance of being victorious. Does that sort of give you any extra confidence or any more validation that this is the right point in your career to go for this title?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, of course, as well as both Ben and Cam, I believe in myself wholeheartedly. So, I believe I can do this, and this is the right time for me as well. My coaches think that as well. We wouldn't take this fight if we didn't think I was ready. So, like, we're taking this fight. I'm ready for the step up. If you want to get to UFC, Contender Series, these sort of things, these are the guys you need to fight. There's no point, mucking around, choosing fights. Oh, I'll wait. Oh, let me have one more fight, then I'll fight him. Let me fight him towards the end of the year. Guys, from the 0 to 6 pro fight mark, you need to be taking hard fights. Like, what's the point in getting to UFC and you just get smashed and then you're cut anyway? So, make sure that you have the hard fights now and fight the guys that you need to fight. So I'm just so glad that I get to step up and showcase my skills against such a high level opponent in John Vake.
No, I know the guys at Eternal, man, they definitely love that kind of attitude. And I think there's a lot of people that think that's just the attitude of every single MMA fighter. And look, far be it from me to talk about people in these positions, because obviously I'm not an MMA fighter, but it's not everybody that takes these positions and thinks I'm going to fight the hard guys now. So I'm ready for the guys in the UFC. There are a lot of people that will avoid certain fights 100%. And then try and get to the UFC to see if they can get there. I know you've experienced a lot because it was so hard to get you a fight, up until, your first pro, to your pro debut, to your second fight, your third fight. It's been not just you, or it hasn't been you at all, like not trying to get a fight. So it's a fantastic mentality that you bring into this one, man. Get these hard fights and get the reps in. Prepare yourself, and that's the whole mantra of Eternal MMA, right? And that's definitely, I know it's a big reason why you're being put in this spot, because you're certainly willing to prove yourself against these hard guys. Now, John Vake is certainly an experienced opponent out of City Kickboxing, and everyone's looking forward to this one, man. Yeah. It's an electrifying fight. It's an electrifying spot.
You look at how Jack did it. He fought all the top guys, before he went there.
Great example.
I'm just trying to follow his footsteps, in that way and fight the hardest guys and get to that next level.
No, we absolutely love to see it, man. And I mean, of course, like, you go in and you get this win, right? You put the belt around your waist. I think this kickstarts something pretty special for you, and we don't want to look too far ahead, but are you sort of looking at this as a bit of a stepping stone, I guess, maybe to ignite the next phase of your career? We know the gaps you sort of had over the last couple of years through injury and through trying to get a fight and all that sort of thing. This is a fresh start for you. You get a title belt around your waist. What do you think sort of the next 12 months looks like for you in terms of how many fights you'd sort of like to get, maybe a couple of title defenses? Is this sort of the catalyst for the next phase in your career to really kick off in fashion?
Absolutely, man. I get this belt wrapped around my waist, and then that pretty much puts me at the number one spot in Australia. So it shouldn't be any issue getting fights in. People definitely want to take that belt off me. So, getting a couple of title defenses in would be awesome. Hopefully get on a card in Sydney. Headline a card, title defense, that would be unreal to get that done. And man, just keep going, like keep knocking these guys out, and then when that phone call comes, for the next level, and take it.
I'm on board for it, man. Keeping your cards close to your chest for this one, or any predictions for how the fight ends?
No, I think it's going to be a tough fight. I really think it's going to be tough. I think John's going to bring out the best in me. I think you're going to see a whole different side of me that you haven't seen before in that. So I'm super excited for that. And tune in. It's going to be an awesome fight.
It certainly is. It all goes down this coming Saturday. We're barely 5 days away from that fight coming up. Lachlan Stitt versus John Vake for the vacant Eternal MMA welterweight strap. It's going to be incredibly exciting. There's still a few tickets left, not many, mind you. So make sure you get yourself to eternalmma.com and secure those tickets for an incredible fight. And of course, if you're not going there live and in person, you can tune in live and exclusive on UFC Fight Pass to see that fight. Lockie, thanks for joining me here again, brother. All the best this weekend for that upcoming title fight. And we'll do this all again on the other side, man. Hopefully for yourself, with that shiny new belt around your waist. Come back and we'll talk about how you did it.
Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it.